The 7 Deadly Sins, according to the Bible. A detailed look. The 7 deadly sins are considered the root of many other sins. While not explicitly listed as deadly sins in the Bible, they are based on biblical teachings and were formally categorized by early Christian theologians. Each sin leads to spiritual downfall and separation from God. 1. Pride, hubris, the root of all sin. Definition: excessive self-importance, arrogance, or believing one is above God. Biblical warning: pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. Example: Satan's fall from heaven, Isaiah 14:12-15, and Adam and Eve's disobedience, Genesis 3:4-6. Consequence: pride blinds people to their need for God and leads to destruction. 2. Greed, avarice, the never-satisfied desire. Definition: an excessive pursuit of wealth, power, or material possessions. Biblical warning: for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. 1 Timothy 6:10. Example: Judas betraying Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, Matthew 26:14-16. Consequence: greed leads to selfishness, dishonesty, and spiritual emptiness. 3. Lust, the uncontrollable desire. Definition: intense longing, often sexual, that leads to immoral actions. Biblical warning: but I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Matthew 5:28. Example: King David's affair with Bathsheba, 2 Samuel 11. Consequence: lust leads to broken relationships, addiction, and spiritual corruption. 4. Envy, the poison of comparison. Definition: resentment towards others for their blessings, success, or possessions. Biblical warning: a heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Proverbs 14:30. Example: Cain killing Abel out of jealousy, Genesis 4:3-8. Consequence: envy causes bitterness, division, and dissatisfaction with God's blessings. 5. Gluttony, overindulgence, without restraint. Definition: excessive consumption of food, drink, or material things. Biblical warning: their God is their stomach, and their glory is in their shame. Philippians 3:19. Example: the Israelites complaining and craving more food in the wilderness, Numbers 11:4-6-31-34. Consequence: gluttony leads to lack of self-control and prioritizing pleasure over God. 6. Wrath, uncontrolled anger that destroys. Definition: intense anger, hatred, or a desire for revenge. Biblical warning: human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. James 1:20. Example: Moses striking the rock in anger, disobeying God, Numbers 29-12. Consequence: wrath damages relationships, clouds judgment, and leads to violence. 7. Sloth, spiritual and physical laziness. Definition: avoiding work, responsibilities, or spiritual growth out of laziness. Biblical warning: whoever is slack in his work is a brother to him who destroys. Proverbs 18:9. Example: the lazy servant in Jesus' parable of the talents, Matthew 25:14-30. Consequence: sloth leads to wasted potential, missed opportunities, and spiritual stagnation.